Hello, welcome one and all. This is Dr. Abhijit Singh Jadeja, representing Edio.NET architecture in VB.NET for you. The question is, explain Edio.NET architecture in detail. A common architecture that provide library, class, object, method to connect our front end means form to backend. It means database is called Edio.NET architecture. Friends, as we know that one, so architecture is a common platform that can provide first of all library. Library has class, class has object, and object always access some methods to connect our front end. If we use VB.NET, then form is our front end, and if we use ASP.NET, then we are using web page as a front end, and database, it is always known as backend, that you guys know very well. So it is a common architecture that provide library, class, object, method to connect our front end to backend. It is called Edio.NET architecture. The abbreviation of Edio.NET is ActiveX database object that you can see on my cursor is moving. The features of Edio.NET is it can attach all type of major database. Means if we consider Excel, Access, SQL, MySQL, Oracle, XML, all data type can be connect within Edio.NET architecture. It is a disconnected data architecture. It will be used as a database or database class method activate when we use connection.open and connection.close. As my cursor is moving over here, cn.open is written and cn.close is written, that you can understand. Whole Edio.NET architecture is considered as a 5 type of data handling class, and that class name is connection, command, data adapter, data set, and data reader. The most lightweight database, that is XML, extensible markup language, that is known as, that's the lightest database, or we can say that it's a light database, easily connect with ASP.NET, and that can use in Edio.NET also. Major process insert, update, delete handled by only connection and command class. For understanding Edio.NET architecture, we can divide this Edio.NET architecture diagram in two parts, that is data provider and data set, that you can understand and observe that my cursor is moving. Now friend, let me understand the diagram of Edio.NET architecture. Yes, in this page you can easily understand, and by this graphical or pictorial view, this is a form, that is my front end. This is a database, that is my back end. And first of all, yes, as we discussed previous page, that is data provider. In a data provider, the most basic class is connection class. Then after command class, and command, as we all know that one, command means insert the data, update the data, delete the data, and select the data. These are the process of database. We want to insert some record, we want to update some record, we want to delete some record, or we can select or search some record. These are the commands. So the command is connected with this particular 4 process of a database. Then data adapter is a last class of a data provider. So it is a bottom to top approach in this Edio.NET architecture. First connection is there. Connection is connected with the command class, and command is related or associate with 4 process of a database, that is insert, update, delete, and select. And this is the XML database that can also handle by this data provider. Data adapter, then after this particular process is passed to data set. Yes, we already discussed that 5 classes, and that 5 classes are connection, command, data adapter, data set, and data reader. So now we are in data set. Data set is a major component that is related with data reader. As per name, it reads the data when you perform select query. If we can break this data reader, we can get data set. Data set, we can know that data set is used always within a key element, that is called field, and field means attribute that you know very well. Then fields and records are a majority and important component of a database. So data set, understand very properly that data set related with data reader, data reader related with data set related with fields, and fields is related with a record, and finally this data set or data reader is connected with the database or backend process. Now let me take one by one each class, because ADO.NET architecture is focused on this 5 class, my friends: connection, command, adapter, dataset, and data reader. So let me take one by one each of it. First of all, data provider, and into the data provider, as we discussed, connection class is there. Most basic class of ADO.NET, which is responsible for database connectivity as location of database, name of database, and connection status, is known as connection class. Friend, this is the most basic class where wherever you are writing the code in VB.NET or ASP.NET, this particular connection will be available as CN open and CN close, that we will later on understand and focus in our practical part. But this is the most basic class that responsible is database connectivity. Location of database means where the database is there, then database name is what, and what is the name of database, and database is connected with our front end or not, that is very important. So this is a definition about somewhat responsibility of connection class. In this class there is a requirement of two main library that already we know that one. When we connect the ADO.NET architecture, that the top of that particular code we need imports system.data, imports system.data.sql client, and this is for SQL client. If you use Oracle, my cursor is moving this place, you will write down Oracle. If you use MS Access, my cursor is moving, at that time you use OLEDB. So this is a type of database, which type of database you are going to connect with our front end. Connection class has three main methods. No doubt there are so many another methods are also there, but we are focused on the main methods is .open, database connection will open, .close, database connection will close, .status, it will check our database connection is open, pause or close, dim CN as new SQL connection, and connection string will be copied. Then command class, yes, it is very important, my friend. A direct interact class that is responsible for database connectivity as perform, insert, update, delete, and select process is known as command class. As earlier in figure we already discussed, the command class is associated with insert, update, delete, and select process. So this is a responsibility of command class, where we can say that one it is interact with the class of ADO.NET and responsible for making a connectivity and perform insert, update, delete, and select process of a database. For command class also we use two library that we already discussed, same thing in a connection, that is import system.data, imports system.data.sql client. Command class has three methods, that is execute none query to perform insert, update, and delete. If you want to perform insert process to the database, update some records to the database, or delete some record from the database, you use execute none query. My cursor is moving, you can observe in this video. The second is execute reader. As per name, use with only select query where more than one record is returns. Execute reader is a very useful process for a database where we can use a select query, and for a select query you know that when we use execute reader, when we understand the program, you will understand better this thing, but now you just keep it in your mind. To perform insert, update and delete, we use execute none query, and to perform select query, you use execute reader. The third method is execute scaler. Use with only select query where single record written by primary key or unique key. Yes, my friends, especially when you use somewhat a single record like email ID, mobile number, where there is a possibility of only single record can retrieve, you use the method execute scaler. Connection and command class is over. Now we understand using ADO.NET Perform, insert the record into the table. The table fields are student detail. Table name is student detail, where the fields are roll number, student name, student city and student standard, using command and connection class. This is a VB.NET form that I am displaying on my screen or my page. Roll number, text box, student name, text box, student city, text box, student standard, text box, and this is insert command button. Now we understand the code. First of all, we need a library, and that library we already discussed. That library, two lines are there. Imports system.data, means database connectivity we want to perform in this particular program. Imports system.data.sql client. It shows my database is in SQL client, or my database type is SQL client. If we use Oracle, then we use Oracle over here. If we use MS Access as a database, we use ODBC over here. Public class form1, that is by default for form1. Dim cn as new SQL connection. Here copy string or connection string copy paste is there. Private sub button 1 underscore click means we are discussing on this insert button click event. Kindly observe my cursor is moving on this video, that is insert button click event. cn dot open means connection will open. Dim cmd as new SQL command. Yes, my friends, cmd is a object of command class. cn is an object of connection class. Same here, dim cmd as new SQL command. I perform insert into table name SDET. I mention the field name, whatever that is given in my definition, roll number, student name, student city and S standard. I mention as it is RNO, S name, SCT and SSTD. Keep ahead. Insert queries continue with values, and for numerical value, double inverted comma, address, and text box 1 dot text. As previously you said that when we are entering roll number in this text box 1, and roll number is a numerical field, so we mention double inverted start, double inverted over, address start, address over, and text box 1 dot text. Then after I mention the comma, you observe my cursor movement in this video. Single inverted start, single inverted over, double inverted start, double inverted over, address operator start, address operator over, and text box 2 dot text. Why we mention single inverted, double inverted, and address, then after text box 2? So friends, it is very easy to understand. This is a student name, and student name always in varchar or textual data. So it is very simple to understand. Whenever we use numerical data, we use double, address, and then after tool. And whenever you use a textual data or varchar data, single, double, address, and then after text box 2 dot text. Same way here, as you know, student city is an alphabet, that is maybe Mumbai, Delhi, New York, Boston, Perth, Melbourne, Sydney, wherever and whatever cities are there. So it is always in alphabet and text. So we are mentioning single, double, address, text box 3 dot text, and finally standard is always in numeric. So double inverted, double, address, text box 4 dot text. And yes, my friends, after this comma, connection class will not forget by you. if you mention .cn, then and then this code will work. So insert process is completed by this particular command of dimcmd as new SQL command, where we are mentioning insert into table name, fields names are there. Then after we are mentioning the rules for numerical data entry and alphabet data entry, and then at last we mention the connection. We are performing insert command, so cmd.execute none query we use. cn close is there, msg box, one record inserted successfully, end sub, end class. So my friend, this is an example where we understand the connection class and command class, and we perform insert record process. Now let we keep continue about this ADO.NET architecture with data adapter. My cursor is moving on your video. Please kindly observe this. A class of ADO.NET that perform back to front process with object or with select query is known as data adapter. Yes, it is a class where we are performing backend to front end. It means select query always brings some records, few records, or all records. So that's why we can say that this is back to front process with select query. It is known as data adapter, a class of ADO.NET that perform back to front process with select query is known as data adapter. This class also require and depend on two library that we know that very well: import system.data, import system.data.sql client. This class depend on data set because select query record always display in a data grid view by data set only. This three lines is very important for all of us. Whenever we use data adapter class, we require data set also, because data adapter bring some records, few records, but this data adapter required data set class, and data set class will connect with data grid view. And that's why when we understand data adapter, along with that we must understand data set along with it. Data adapter method is .fill. By this method, select query records transfer to data set. Example, da.fill into the bracket data set, comma, double inverted comma, table name, bracket is over. So friends, you can understand that we are mentioning this example with DA means data adapter, fill, this is a method, DS means data set, and by this way we can say that when data adapter is always connected with data set, by fill method it transfer the records to data set. Let me understand the data set class, because data adapter and data set always learn together. It is a twin process, or it is a connected process. So let me understand the data set, my friend. A class of ADO.NET that work like a bridge and provide select query record to the front end is known as data set class. Along with this definition, we must say that when this class is work like a bridge and it provide the select query or data adapter record to the front end. We keep going ahead to understand the ADO.NET architecture. Yes, my friends, data adapter always accept the record from the database. Database can mention over here also where XML is there. Data adapter transfer this records or select query records to the data set. My cursor is moving. Kindly observe in this video very properly. This data set is having all the records by fill method, because we mentioned da.fill into the bracket data set and then table name, and this data set always connected with the front end. So let me keep continue along with our on page. Along with this thing, a class of ADO.NET that work like a bridge and provide the select query records to the front end is known as data set class. This class also depend on two library, import system.data, import system.data.sql client, that is SQL client is a database type. Yes, dataset has only one method, that is .tables. It is a collection of records that directly connected with data grid view tools of front end. As we mentioned that data set always connect with front end, especially data grid view. In a data grid view is one type of Excel view where we can see our all record, few record or single record. So dot tables is a method and it's a collection of record that can directly connect with the data grid view as a part. Example, data grid view dot data source equal to ds means data set dot tables into the bracket inverted comma table name. Friend, as previously we understand connection and command within our example, now it is a time to understand adapter and dataset along with ADO.NET architecture. So the definition is perform each and every query of student detail table by student city field using adapter and dataset. As this screen shown in your video, my cursor is moving. Kindly observe student city, where we are entering the student city into the text box. This is a text box, and when I click on search button, this is a data grid view. It is a Excel type of view where you can see the record over here. So now I think you people are understand the definition and layout also. Again, perform each and every query, select query of student detail table. That already student detail table, we know that one, roll number, student name, student city and student standard, using data adapter and dataset. This is a layout. Student city is in label text box 1 where we want to enter the student city, and when I click on search button, this is a command button 1. So let me take a code of it. First of all, the library import system.data, import system.data.sql client, public class form1. This is for form 1. dim cn as new SQL connection string will be copied, that you know very well. Yes my friend, this is button 1 click event where real logic start. So please observe this my mouse movement along with this a programming concept. Private sub button 1 underscore click, connection open by cn.open, dim da means data adapter as new data adapter, select star from student detail where student city sct equal to single inverted, double inverted, address operator, text box 1 dot text, and then after this select query, whatever double inverted comma we are starting over here, it must be closed over here. And then after we need a connection, because connection is always hold the database. Here we perform the select query and data adapter bring whatever you are writing in this text box. Suppose I enter Delhi, Maharashtra, Melbourne, Sydney, Toronto, whatever city I am entering, and when I click on this button, this particular select query perform and it will bring some records related with this search query. Yes my friends, dim ds as new data set. This is a data set. We declare da dot fill bracket ds comma sdet, that is table name, data grid view 1 dot data source equal to ds dot table into the bracket sdet student detail table cn dot close. It's a very simple code to perform the search query. If you have some record in a student city and you enter some records like Ahmedabad, Junagadh, Gandhinagar, Delhi, Maharashtra, Sydney, and when you perform on this command button click event, This is a logic of buttons click event. Connection open is there. DA perform that select query. It will bring some of the records related with your select query. DA does not work alone, so we declare DS as a data set. DA fill the record to the data set with the table name. Data grid view means this is a Excel view where my cursor is moving. Data grid view 1 dot data source equal to ds dot table student detail connection close. And sub and class means my code is over, subroutine is over. Public class form 1, it is completed by end class. Students and my dear friends, the last class of data reader we are starting, that is data reader, and that is very important. As we discussed, these are the 5 classes are important. So let me understand about data reader, a class of ADO.NET that always provide logical response. So please understand this concept of data reader. This is the main objective or main purpose of a data reader. Logical response for select query is known as data reader. So what do you understand by logical response? If I ask you that one, did you pay your fees to your school or college? You say yes or no. If I ask you, is it rain today? Your answer is always yes or no. Same over here. When you perform some select query, it is mentioned ADO.NET always provide logical response of a select query of a single record like login. Yes, login means you enter your email ID or mobile number, then after you are providing the password. If email ID or mobile number along with the password is right, whatever the message you will get it on your screen, my dear students, that is login successfully, means this is a logical response, this user available. So you will get the message login success. If your username and password is wrong, you will always get the message sorry, no username and password find. Data reader depend on command class. Friends, as data adapter depend on data set, same like data reader depend on command class. All login process or OTP verification is used by data reader only. Nowadays, one-time password, that is a temporary, but it is always mentioned by data reader. The method is only one, that is .read. It will logical check that 2 or more fields or data records is available or not. Here we can understand the data reader example. So this is the last example for that. Provide login process or user process that enter mail ID and password and check login successful or unsuccessful. So understand, I think this is a login process where I should enter my mail ID and password. If that email ID and password is available in my database, it will show me the message login successful. Otherwise that message is login unsuccessful. That is available, and that can be performed by data reader only, because data reader always provide logical response, means true or false. Let me understand the code along with the screen drawing of VB.NET login form. Mail ID, text box 1, password, text box 2, login, button 1, and sign up, that we will not consider right now, but login is a button 1. As we know that one, import system.data, import system.data.sql client, these are the 2 library that is very compulsory for connection, command, adapter, dataset or data reader. So this is most important and most basic element that library are fixed for all the process. Public class form 1, dim cn as new SQL connection string will be copy paste over here. Private sub button 1 underscore click, this is a consideration of login process. Connection dot open, yes my friend, that is very important. Dim cmd as new SQL command cmd comes select star from SDET where mail ID equal to single inverted, double inverted, double inverted, address operator, textbox 1 dot text. As we know that mail ID or email ID always in text, so we are using varchar or textual data, and textual data single, double, double, address, textbox 1 dot text, and password that is in textbox 2, and we know that one password also in varchar or text, so we are mentioning single, double inverted, address operator, and this is textbox 2 dot text. Double inverted that we are starting with the select query that is over here, and comma cn always hold the database, so connection is there. dr as SQL data reader. My friend, this is an example of data reader, so kindly focus over here, because command we are mentioning within a select query where only single record require. Mail ID is always unique or primary key. If we enter the correct mail ID in this text box 1 and password in text box 2, then what happened? dr as SQL data reader equal to cmd.execute reader. cmd.execute reader we use to focus, and that cmd.execute reader retrieve the data to dr. So again we would like to focus on the declaration dr data reader as SQL data reader equal to cmd.execute reader, means data will read. And yes my friend, this is very important. If dr.read equal to true, then MSG box login success. It means where you enter in this text box correct email ID and correct password from SDET table and database, that particular execute reader give the logical response to dr. Logical response means true or false. Here it is proof dr.read equal to true, means data reader found only single record of that mail ID and password, so we will get the message login success. Else MSG box login unsuccess. And if that if started with and if cn.close and sub and class. So it is very easy to understand this ADO.NET architecture. All 5 components we are completed, all 5 class. If we make a conclusion of this ADO.NET architecture class, here the last slide or last page on your screen is connection class used in every process, because if you observe everywhere we use cn.open, cn.close, so connection use everywhere. Connection plus command class use insert, update and delete process. If you want to insert new record to into the table, if you want to update some record to the table, or if you want to delete some record from the table, we need connection and command. And very next, connection plus data adapter plus dataset load all the records to the data grid view, or we can say that some records. In previous example we use city-wise search. In your screen this page shows adapter and dataset where we are enter the city, and when we click on this search button, that respected city may be Ahmedabad, Delhi, Maharashtra, Junagadh, Melbourne or Sydney, that city wise record will load to the data grid view, that we understand. We are come to the conclusion. So all records or few records mentioned by connection, adapter and dataset. Last particular class explanation is connection plus command plus data reader, that we see in this thing that command class is there and data reader is there. Data reader read and checked if login success or not. So connection plus command plus data reader login, logical checking. Means almost ActiveX database object or ADO.NET architecture is concluded with connection class, command class, data adapter class, data set class, and data reader class, with the purpose of various process that we are always use in client server architecture. Along with this, I, Dr. Abhijit Singh Jadeja, conclude the explanation of ADO.NET architecture. Along with this, thank you so much. If you have any questions and query, you can ask me on a comment box of this video. Kindly watch the video, share the video, subscribe the video, and share it on the social media if you like it. If you have any queries, any question, you can ask me on a comment box. Thank you. Have a nice day. Have a good day. Keep safe. Be happy always. Thanks a lot.